Everyone, I'm Tracy, your host for a Channeler's Channel, and today's episode is our January 2014 monthly reading. So welcome. If that's what you're here for, stay tuned. I'll go get Whitehawk in just a moment. But as always, I like to touch back on the previous month, and the previous month was December 2013, and in that, Whitehawk's pretty well forewarned us about the month ahead, and he wanted us to remember the reason for the season, hope, faith in Jesus, and to not give in to the materialism and the overindulging that can occur, whether the overindulging be overspending of your money, of your time, of your faith. And so he had referred to it as becoming a toxic month because of the way people fuel themselves, as I said, through the drinking and the feasting, and then the overspending of your time and your money. So I hope you were able to slow that down a little bit because, as I said before, it's a monster, and that you're able to take care of yourself and not be coerced or persuaded. You have to learn to say no and create those boundaries for your own self and the world around you by saying no to certain things. You're becoming a role model, and other people will see you do that, and then they'll say, well, you know what, like Janie and Susanna or whomever else did that, I'm going to do that because, it wasn't such a big deal. Nobody got upset over it. And the party still went on, and, everybody still enjoyed Christmas. So by doing it, you're being a role model, and then other people will step up and do the same thing. And if by chance you are still exhausted because it was still too much for you, for instance, the holiday season wasn't too much for me per se because, there wasn't overspending, there wasn't overpartying, there wasn't all that stuff. But what happened for me was simply that I have two people that got sick in our family. And so that is what exhausted me. So if you got exhausted in any shape or form, whether it be from overindulging or because your family is sick, then, there's a video that Whitehawk did where he took us through corpses pose, and he had us just go into a meditation and let go of the worry and all that can come with the season. So I will post that downstairs down in this description box for you, and let yourself go into corpses pose and just relax to bring yourself back up. Rest, right? Okay, so that was last month's reading. Let's go get Whitehawk, who is my spirit guide. In case this is the first time you've ever been here, he is my spirit guide, and I consciously channel him, meaning I am conscious, I'm awake when I channel him. And it's not trance channeling. Trance channeling is where I would not even have an awareness of my own self. And in fact, people come out of trance channeling often don't remember what was said, but I can remember what was said. So there's a difference. Okay, so let's go get Whitehawk as the sun comes out for January 2014 monthly reading. Hopefully that's a good omen. Okay. Indeed, he says, a new month, a new year precedes us. So what can you expect or even afford in this upcoming month? And I sense a Whitehawk who is quite upset with us. He is unimpressed with us for some reason. Indeed, he says, I had forewarned you before, he says, of the roller coaster that can ensue, he says, when we do not pay attention, he says, to our overindulging and our overspending. And there's like a sadness in him as well. So he's angry, but underneath the anger is really sadness. And he says no, because some people are saying, well, I can't control what we do. And so he responds. And that was telepathically, by the way, that came across to me. He says, no, you cannot control it. Or I cannot control it, he says. But I can be disappointed. And certainly I can be sad, which in turn will turn to anger. And the only reason, he says, I am completely beside myself and sad is because nothing's going to change, children, unless we do the changing. The president, your prime minister, the queen, whomever you look up to or is your guardian of your state, country, world, universe, is not going to be the one who's going to lay down these rules and say, all right, this year we are not going to overspend. This year you are not going to overindulge. Materialism is not a big deal. They are not going to come to you and say that, for they feed off that. They live off that. There is a demand for that, and there is greed for that. So by standing up and saying, no more, you would have started to put an end to it all, but you did not. You allowed yourself to get caught up in the flow of things again, and you became a follower, and you got yourself exhausted. And there's so much sadness that I really think it's more than just Whitehawk. I really think it's all of us. It's the world. And just a footnote here, I felt a lot of sadness on Christmas Day and Boxing Day because of the letdown and people feeling cheated because they make such a big deal out of this one day. And he says, yes, such a big deal out of one day, 1 month, when there are so many other days in the year and so many other months in the year. But we go, consumerism for this month, for this day. And did we ever even stop and take a moment for the reason for the season? And so now you pay. So he's shaking his head no. He says, and so now you pay. You pay in your time, you pay in your money, you pay in your wisdom, and most of all, you pay in your heart. I cannot say any more to you, children. It is really a choice we make. Your choice. Indeed, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And so I feel a sadness, and I feel a letdown, and I feel everybody kind of going, yeah, man, I screwed up. I messed up. It's not going to change. You're right, Whitehawk. It's not going to change. And I, who's supposed to be so much a leader and lead the change and be the change, I messed up. This is not me, Tracy, saying this. This is kind of the group saying this somewhere along the line where we screwed up during the month. You're right. I gave in to that overindulgent grandmother. I gave in to that tyrant of a mother or a wife or a daughter or son, grandfather, whatever, boss, whomever, whatever, it doesn't matter what gender, breed. So we're all just feeling the sting of our actions and the sadness and the exhaustion and the lack of purpose that comes after the season. And so Whitehawk, as he's giving us this reading, he's up on his horse. And, wow, like, he's fed up with us. Like, I mean, really fed up. And so he's turning his horse. Like, that's the end of the reading. Like, he's turning and he's leaving. Turns, in other words, his back to us, I guess. And he's going to leave. But he stops and he turns and he looks at us and he says, I told you, children. I told you this many times. There is no nourishment in materialism. There is not, there never has been, there never will be. Your purpose is your soul. It is within your heart. You will find it there, and you know it, and you feel it here. You feel it here, you feel it here, you feel it here. You know it, he says. And so yes, I am very disappointed. And I can no longer stand around and watch you sacrifice yourself for these needless traditions, for these empty promises, for a path that is leading you nowhere. So when you are ready to change, I'm here and I will be back next month, next week. But I am sad. I am disappointed in how the season turned out. Or I cannot say that many of you took a moment to praise the Lord for his arrival on Christmas Day. Ah yes, you still have time. But much disappointment. He walks off with his horse, on horseback. And we're all left like children who have been chided, is that the proper word? That we got a slap, that there is much disappointment for our behavior, that we did not walk the path we said we would walk, or we did not do that which we said we had promised. So that's where I'll leave the reading. Bless. Thank you, Whitehawk. Even though you're mad at us, thank you. All right, so that's our reading for January 2014. And again, it can be metaphorical and it can be literal. So, and it can have a double-edged message to it, right? So yes, Whitehawk is telling us he's disappointed in us for overindulging and not walking the path and being the leaders and changers and shakers and the movers that we're supposed to be. But also in your own life, you know, you may be the one like Whitehawk who's disappointed and angry for some kind of behavior that occurred in your life, in your world. And so maybe you're leaving, but in that case, maybe you're not coming back. You know, whereas Whitehawk is just reaffirming to us that yes, he will be back. I hope he's back. Oh my God, what would I do then? You know, I'll have to look for a new spirit guide. So, you know, that might be what finally occurs. You just finally have to turn your back on the person and just walk away. And no, you won't be back. Because there's only so much you can take. Because when life becomes filled with empty promises and exhausted in what you're doing. And what is it that he told us in the last reading? How depression causes stagnation. Oh my God, I was like, that is brilliant. I never thought, no, the opposite. Stagnation causes depression, right? And I never thought of it, and then there's other little things you think that I've read, you know, little quotes you hear on Twitter and Facebook, and how, you know, like you think something in life is lethal, try when your life doesn't change and it becomes mundane, and you're doing the same thing over and over again, like, right, Groundhog Day, it just becomes lethal. Like, so we need change, we need to flow, there needs to be movement. So maybe that's what that reading meant. So as you proceed through January, you know, let me know. Comment down below how it's going, or if there's anything metaphorical or literal, watch for them, because they're there, that you recognize out of this reading. Okay, so this reading, January 2014 monthly reading, and the week of December 30th and January 5th weekly reading are the last 2 times that you can subscribe and like to be eligible for our giveaway of a 10 to 15 minute reading, 1 question reading that I will do for you. I'll hook up with you somehow, and then I'll do a YouTube reading for you, and the link will be emailed to you, so it's only for your eyes only, for your eyes only. Who sings that? Sheena Easton. Okay, so it's very James Bond, remember? It's from that movie. That's how my mind works. See? It's awful, isn't it? Anyways, okay. And our last vlog was the New Year's 2014 intuitive guidance video, so have a listen to that. See what's up for our year 2014. Anyways, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. As always, subscribe. I'd love to know who you are. Like, comment, share this video, because you never know who else needs to hear these words, and whom this might be helping in their life. Okay, we'll see you for our weekly reading on Sunday. God bless. I'm Tracy for a Chandler's Channel.